who knows how much time we've got left. I'm almost 50 at this point, so there's not a whole lot of time to like screw around. I got a lot of important work that I want to make. Hi, my name is Tim Okamura, and I'm an artist working in Bushwick, Brooklyn. I'm originally from Edmonton, Canada, but I've been in New York City about 26 years and been working hard since the day I got here. I think my style artistically is something that evolved in a really organic way. I was always interested in painting the figure and working on portraiture from the time that I was young. My interest was really motivated by making paintings of people that I hadn't seen painted before. Being half Japanese and not really having other friends that looked like me or had the same stories shaped my vision of the world. Everybody can have a different story and a different background and look different, but there's a commonality. My father's Japanese, my mother's from Newfoundland, her heritage is British. In this day and age, we all have these crazy, complex backstories and all these different influences, and we're really a product of so many things. It's quite a package, but I'm glad to be me. Living in a very multicultural city like New York has certainly had an impact on the work, primarily the people that I encounter and all the stories that are being told. I was lucky in my experience growing up that I had a very sort of multicultural, little bubble that I kind of lived in and with my friends and the people that I loved. It wasn't a huge contrast in terms of that diversity, but it certainly was in terms of the edginess of this urban environment. I think that I moved to New York at the exact time where my sort of love of like graffiti and hip hop was really in full bloom. Graffiti started to develop from, kind of simple tags and started to evolve and get more and more into designing these complex letter forms. I wanted to find ways to integrate that into my work and make it a part of what I was doing. So I was still holding it down, in terms of painting the figure in a realistic way. I also wanted to just celebrate like the positive and celebrate beauty. So my search for that took me down a particular path. I didn't think too much about the correlation between, let's say, me painting, African-American women and me not being an African-American woman. I just didn't consider it as being an issue. I think more of like what's inside this person, what's their spirit about, what's their energy about, and that's what I try to connect with. I think that it's interesting though in this day and age where people want to define you, first of all. I feel very connected to the Japanese side, but I also feel I understand the British side and the Newfoundlander in my mother and that kind of very sort of rustic sort of aspect of how she grew up too. It's fun for me to think about how much of an unusual formula that is, and then the work that I've undertaken. I think that I've always considered the work to be mostly personal, actually. I think that in the past also maybe I felt that the work was kind of conservative in terms of messaging and I wasn't being overtly political. I think that I just was focusing on the people that I was painting for the most part and letting them kind of speak for themselves. As time has gone on, and certainly I think we are going through a cultural revolution right now. I don't necessarily feel pressure to like get more political with the work, but I think that I'm more clear now with my message, and that's really one of unity. When it comes to talking about humans and the word race comes up, it's unavoidable, but for me, it's a misnomer. There's really only one race. There's a human race. Race is viewed in American culture in a very complex way. I think that the problem is a lot of people have been programmed. When you're born, your natural state of being is what they call tabula rasa, or a blank slate. You don't think anything bad about somebody that doesn't look like you until somebody tells you. Some of those stories and those things that are being passed down are starting to fade and dissipate. And I think that some of the younger generation aren't longer telling those stories to their kids. I don't have children. I hope to have at least one child at some point. I think that the path that I've been on has been pretty intense, as an artist. In terms of telling my children about my identity or who I am, it's just gonna be honest. I'm an amalgamation of all these different influences. My parents, they never pressured me. They encouraged what they saw me gravitating towards and helped to grow that, but they never tried to force me into a box. As far as an artist, you always want to expose your work to different audiences and to grow your audience. And for me, of course, it's globally. I think that the work is also growing in terms of its content, and I think that naturally that's going to find its own audience as well. As an artist, I want to challenge people too. I think a good artist has to. You know, we're supposed to create dialogue, we're supposed to ask questions. It's going to attract whatever feedback it does. I can only control the work and try to do the best work I can. I'm not going to continue doing exactly what I'm doing now for the next 30 years. There's more people in this world than you think who are just into love and celebrating humans and good painting and good portraiture, and the rest doesn't matter to them. And that's really encouraging for me because I meet them all the time. This very diverse group of people that respond to the work, and that's so uplifting for me.